What if you woke up one morning and, like, half the internet was just gone? That's not a sci-fi plot. Nope, that's exactly what happened in November 2025. So today, we're going to dig into the great outage that made ChatGPT disappear and honestly reveal just how fragile our digital world really is.
Just try and picture it again. You grab your coffee, you sit down, you're ready to start your day. Maybe you ask ChatGPT to help you write an email, and you get nothing. Just a blank screen. You know that sinking feeling of, wait, is it just me? Yeah, you were not alone, not even close.
Instead of a friendly chat, you are greeted by this little gem, the 500 internal server error. It's basically the internet's way of just shrugging its shoulders at you. And the truly wild part? Millions of us, from Tokyo to Toronto, were all staring at this exact same confusing message completely in the dark.
And then the reports just started flooding in. This wasn't just a ChatGPT thing. All of a sudden, your X feed was totally frozen. Spotify went silent right in the middle of a song. Your work chats on Discord? Dead. Even trying to call an Uber was a no-go. It seriously felt like the internet's biggest players were being knocked offline one by one.
So how is that even possible? What's the invisible string that connects a ride-sharing app to a video game and an AI chatbot? Well, to figure out what caused this massive digital traffic jam, we have to look under the hood of the apps we use every single day.
The first big clue was that the problem wasn't actually inside OpenAI's own servers. ChatGPT itself, the AI, was perfectly fine. The issue was with the fundamental plumbing it runs on. A good way to think about it is this. The AI was ready for work, but all the roads leading to its office were completely blocked off.
And those blocked roads? They all lead back to one single place. A single company that pretty much acts as the internet's unofficial traffic cop, directing a huge chunk of all global web traffic. And on that particular day, well, the cop just wasn't on the job.
And that company is Cloudflare. If you've ever seen one of their error pages, you've used their network. They are, to put it simply, both a super efficient traffic controller and an invisible security force for a truly mind-boggling portion of the web. We're talking millions of websites and apps here. So let's break down what they actually do. Every time you visit a site, it's probably Cloudflare finding the fastest possible path for your data to travel. At the exact same time, it's acting like a shield, batting away cyber attacks you don't even know are happening. And it's also caching content, basically storing bits of the website closer to you, so everything just feels instant. All those services that went down, they weren't just using Cloudflare, they were depending on it for their speed, their security, and their ability to even function. Okay, so if Cloudflare is this powerful, this essential, how in the world did it fail so spectacularly? Let's go minute by minute and see how one small crack in the foundation turned into a global digital earthquake.
The dominoes started to fall really early that morning. At 6:40 a.m. Eastern Time, the first internal alarms are going off at Cloudflare. By 7 a.m., the problem isn't internal anymore. It spills out into the public as users like you and me start seeing those dreaded 500 errors. Less than an hour later, it's a full-blown global incident. But look how fast they moved. By 8:30, they'd figured it out and were deploying a fix. And just after 9, the internet slowly, gradually started to wake back up.
Now, whenever an outage this massive happens, the first question on everyone's mind is always the same. Was this a malicious attack? Was my data stolen? So let's be crystal clear about what this was and what it absolutely was not. This slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. A network outage, like this one, is like all the roads leading to your bank are broken. You can't get to your money, sure, but it's still safe and sound inside the vault. A security breach, on the other hand, is like someone breaking the locks on the vault itself. Now your data is at risk. All the reports confirm this was a classic case of broken roads, not broken locks. Your data was safe, you just couldn't get to it. So, okay, our data was safe. Phew. But the fact that a single glitch could cause that much chaos, well, it reveals something fundamental, and frankly, a little bit scary about how the modern internet is actually built. It's all about the domino effect.
You know, we like to think of the internet as this vast, decentralized thing. But the truth is, massive chunks of it are built on foundations provided by just a handful of giant companies, like Cloudflare, Amazon's AWS, or Microsoft's Azure. Now, this is super efficient, but it also creates these massive single points of failure. So when one of them has a bad day, a truly shocking number of other services get pulled down right along with it.
So what are the big takeaways here? What do we learn? First, this idea of interdependence is absolutely massive. We learned that one company can basically hit the off switch for major global brands.
Second, the problem isn't always where you think it is. You felt the outage on Spotify, but the real issue was buried layers deep in the internet's plumbing. And third, this was a painful but really powerful reminder that redundancy is crucial. It's incidents like this that force companies to invest in backup systems to prevent the next big one.
Okay, so we know this wasn't the first major outage, and it certainly won't be the last. So what can you actually do when it happens again? Here's a quick and simple survival guide for the next time the internet decides to take an unscheduled day off.
First, before you panic, just check an official source like Down Detector to confirm it's a real outage and not just your Wi-Fi. Second, and this is the hardest part, I know, step away from the refresh button. Hitting it over and over again can actually make the problem worse for everyone. Third, if a service you're using feels a little shaky, just copy whatever you're working on to a local file. And finally, just take a breath. The internet has an incredible immune system, and you can bet the world's best engineers are already on the case. And all of this leaves us with one final and really crucial question. This outage was a massive stress test, right? It revealed the hidden architecture of our digital lives. So as we continue to build more and more of our world on the shoulders of just a few tech giants, we have to ask ourselves, is the internet becoming more robust and efficient, or is it just becoming dangerously fragile?